In life, always give priority to people, to life, to love, to compassion, rather than mere observing of the rigid rules. Dear friends, in today's liturgy, we get inspiration from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 1 to 5. And the context is of the Shabbat controversy, like today Shabbat here in Jerusalem in Israel generally, and our brothers and sisters the Jews are commemorating it in a beautiful way, usually with silence, with prayer, no work, recharging themselves, being with the family. And this is how even our Sunday as Christian Catholics should be, because for us Sunday is the day of the resurrection, the day that Jesus as the Messiah came to fulfill the Shabbat, the ancient law. Jesus came to fulfill it when he rose victoriously on Sunday and proved to us that he has power over death. He has power over everything. And so today, being a Shabbat, is a day of rest. And for us, our Sunday is also supposed to be a day of rest, of bonding with the family, of rebuilding our energies, of not working, following the commandment that you should not work on Shabbat. It is the day of the Lord, the day of worship, the day of prayer, the day of opening our mind and hearts to the Lord. And so that's how the Shabbat was supposed to be, and that's how it is for some of the our brothers here, and that's how it's supposed to be also for us Christians. That's a day of rest, of prayer, of worship. Now, the disciples were moving on Shabbat, and they felt hungry, and now they saw some grains in the garden, and now they started rubbing them. Imagine rubbing them, removing the husks, falling off, and in order to eat the raw grain, meaning they were really hungry. It was like a sign of dependency, of simplicity, of taking everything from the nature, of appreciating the nature and getting nourishment from the nature that surrounds us. They teach us also to, instead of talking too much, they teach us to also appreciate the beauty and need to also get everything from the nature that surrounds us, to take care of the nature, but also the nature that it can take care of us, even the simple ways of living. And in such a context, that's when the scribes and Pharisees, who always found problems with Jesus, now come in to find ways to pull down the disciples. They say they are breaking the Shabbat law. And of course, the Shabbat law was clear that you should honor the Shabbat, the Sabbath, especially the third commandment, and they followed the commandments in a very strict way, which is a beautiful thing as long as it provides for life. But the worst part of it is that commandment had been multiplied in several things, and one of it was you should not do any work, especially by also even rubbing grains. So it was clearly indicated there's nothing like eating of the grain, rubbing the grains from the garden on that day. So that's why it's like they were going to the details which of the laws which are there. They are made humanly. Sometimes it teaches us not that sometimes we are convinced ourselves, we are stuck to our negative convictions which we have created by our own selves, and we fix them on others. What are we convinced about? Is what we are convinced about really based on the natural law, divine law of God, which is the commandments, or it is a fruit of our negative personal kind of convictions, which are many times so subjective? It's according to me, but it's not general. Then we multiply them and we apply them as a heavy weight on others. This is now what the scribes and Pharisees have done. They had kind of deviated, gone away from the natural divine law, which was meant to protect the human person, and they had multiplied also other small human laws. Which human laws have we multiplied that are blocking people from living their life to the full? And so this is when they attack Jesus and they say that the disciples of Jesus are violating the Shabbat law. And that's why Jesus said the Son of Man, Jesus himself, is Lord even of this Sabbath. Is Lord of everything, is the master of everything, is the creator of everything, including the law, the rigid laws that they were following, including the law. Is the Lord, master of everything. He has power of everything. And so he being the Lord of Masters, that's why he gives even the example of David, how he went and ate and took and gave the bread that was meant for the priests alone to give to the men who were hungry. Meaning that we should be able to learn how to discern from the realities around. That yes, even if the laws are saying this, but is what I'm going to do going to favor the life of the human person? Is it going to save the life of the human person? Is it going to serve the life of the human person? That's why the Lord said, what I desire is not sacrifice, but mercy, is love, is compassion. Are we compassionate to the people around us? Or we allow the rigid laws to guide us and to suffocate us? Whatever law it is should aim at saving the human person, serving the human person, freeing the human person, helping the human person live fully that which is meant to be with dignity. If the law blocks one from helping another when he needs help, then that's not a law. It has to be revised. When the law becomes rigid, that others can have no freedom of the children of God, then that's not a law. It needs to be revised. And so that's why Jesus reminds them that the Lord is the master of everything. And so as long as the Lord is there, then we are invited to be compassionate, to be reconciling towards each other, to be loving, to be our sacrifices should be shown in love, in compassion, in reaching out to others. And so that's why we should be ready even to go beyond the traditions in order to save life and to serve life, to give priority to people rather than to things, rather than to rules. This doesn't mean we should violate the rules and laws. No. It's like when in Uganda we keep left while driving, and then while here in Israel we keep right while driving. The rules have to be followed for sure, yes, because if you are in Uganda and you keep right, definitely you create confusion for yourself and for others, and you may even die. So yes, rules have to be followed for sure, yes, but then what's more important is the people should be the priority. That should be, whatever rule is there, should be able to give life, to save life, to serve the people with compassion, with love, and with mercy. Any rule that is so rigid does not give room for life. We pray that the Lord may help us to be life givers. Greetings from Jerusalem, dear friends.